This is the GeoSketch Tools video for the Import Camera tool, which is the first icon in the toolbar. I select that tool and I'm presented with a panel showing the frames. You might have to move to the directory where you stored your video frames. We have the option to view these images in an external viewer by doing the right-clicking on the image and then doing Open With and choosing an external viewer. And in this case, we can look at all of the sequence of videos and flip through them so that we get an idea of the coverage of the images. And then when we're done, we can exit that external program and continue with our import. If you're going to import a series of images, it doesn't really matter which one you pick because it's just getting the directory from it. But if you're going to import a single image, then you need to pick that particular image. In this case, I'm going to be importing a series. So by default, the option is to import a series. It gives me the path of the file that I selected, the name of the file, and then the defaults are to start at frame 0 and it calculated how many frames were there. So if you had a different number of frames, it would set the default frame in to the highest number frame in your directory, and the frame increment defaults to 10. And as we mentioned in the concepts video, the scale is something that will be unique for whatever camera model was used or whatever software was used to obtain the camera models. So I'll go ahead and accept the defaults and get every 10th frame from 0 to 180. And I have those images imported. Now we can also load in individual images. For example, I can load in frame number 5. And then I'll choose, rather than import series, to import just a single image. In this case, these parameters will be ignored, the frame start, end, and increment, but the scale will be used. So I'll import image number 5. And when you import a single image, it frames that image for you, and it also assumes that you're going to want to load in another image, so it represents the panel to select that image. So I could select frame number 15 and import that. Or I could do a sub-range of images, so I can pick a frame, in this case switch back to importing a series, and if I wanted to go from frame 25 through frame 175, going in 5-degree increments. Actually, I would leave it at 10-degree increments because I've already loaded in the even multiples of 10, and select OK. And now I have every 5 frames. Now I have the ability to, whenever you're in one of the tools for drawing from the images, if you right-click, it has the general GeoSketch settings where you can control the opacity and the visibility of all of the aux views, but then also there are options for the individual aux view that you have selected. So for example, you can align and view on that image, or you could hide the image. So I can say that I want to hide that particular image, and I could hide an adjacent image as well. And then I can use, in this case I've defined the keyboard shortcuts for displaying or undisplaying all aux views. If I hit the button to display all aux views, those hidden aux views come back. And I also have the ability to delete an aux view, and you need to be sure that you don't want to have that aux view anymore before you delete it. And there is one menu item that is not in the toolbar because we didn't want to have anybody delete all their aux views by accident, although it does prompt you. So under the GeoSketch menus, there's an option for deleting all aux views. So for example, if you're going to export your model to another CAD system or to another visualization system and you want to get rid of all the aux views, you can use this tool to do that, and it will present you with the option. It'll tell you that you're deleting 37 aux views, and you also have the option to purge the texture palette after you do this. So if I say yes, it'll delete all the aux views and purge the texture palette. If I say no, it'll just delete the aux views and leave the textures in the palette, or if I say cancel, it'll just cancel the operation. So I'll say yes, and all the aux views are deleted. So that concludes the tool for importing a series of images for such as video frames.